Hey everybody, it's Joe from Britical Saiyans here, and today I'm going through my green Brody BR deck profile. So this has been around for a while, but it's a lot of fun. So anyway, let's get into it. So to start with, we've got active main. You choose up to 1 freezes army card with an edge cost of 1 from your deck, add to your hand, then shuffle your deck and negate the skill for the game. So you can just get any one drop of your choice, which in this deck there are 3 different options, but let's be real, you're just going to get Broly because you need to if you don't have him in the starting hand, but you can just mulligan him to search him out with that, so really useful. And then his awaken is just a 1/1 when you're on 4 or less. And then we get into the Evil Unleashed side. So to start with, it has a permanent of if there are 2 or more battle cards in play in your battle area, you can't play battle cards. So you are limited to 2 battle cards, which is good now that we have unisons, because you can still have a unison and 2 battle cards. But I don't run a unison in this version because it's just about killing your opponent quickly, so don't matter. He's got Sparking 7. So when it attacks, you draw until you have 6 cards in your hand, which sounds tough, but in this deck it's very easy because you're discarding 2 to play your next battle card really. So, and he's got active main once per turn. You choose one of your battle cards and your opponent's battle cards and KO the chosen cards, which again, part of the deck, so really useful. To start with, we've got our extra cards as always. So we have 4 copies of Brody Control Mechanism. So it's got field and active main. You place the card in the opponent's drop area. You choose Brody BR in your battle area, place it in your drop, and then draw a card. So it just lets you go up the chain quick because the Brody is activated by going into a drop. So this thing just lets you get a card and go into your next Brody. In fact, I put it up to 4. I also put it up to 4 and added another card to the deck because here's the thing. When I was updating the deck, I was like, I know, I'll put the 3-drop Paragus in so that when I discard it, I can play it through Brody. So Brody's effect would discard it and then I can use Paragus' effect to play it out. After I'd done that, I was like, yeah, this seems good. And then what should happen, but like a week later they banned Paragus. So, thanks Bandai, that was great timing. I was really excited to be like, oh yeah, look at this clever play. Boom, Beerus, yeah, second battle card. But no. But 4 mechanisms also good. So, it's alright. I'm not annoyed. So next we got For the Greater Good. The very reason they banned Beerus was for the greater good. I'm just kidding. So, counter attack, if your lead is green, you negate the attack, then you can choose one of your opponent's battle cards with an edge cost of 1 and KO it. So just pop a small thing, always useful. Its permanent is you can activate it from the drop by paying its cost and removing itself plus a green card in your hand from the game. But its auto states you can only use it once per turn. So, well, that's alright, you get 2 uses out of the same card. So, hence you can run them at small numbers because you technically have 2 if you do it right. Next we got 2 copies of Shocking Death Ball. So counter attack, if your lead is green, negate the attack, then choose one of your opponent's battle cards with an edge cost of 2 or less and KO it. So basically the same counter as this card, it's just pop a small thing. But this one has permanent of Sparking 5. You can activate it from your hand by taking a card from your life instead of paying the cost. So, which is quite useful in this deck because you tend to burn through energy, but you don't mind taking a life because it's more cards for you to discard later. So, and our last 2 1-drops are Wrathful Charge. So, again, counter attack, release green, negate the attack. Then you can choose one of your battle cards and place it in the drop. If you do, your opponent chooses a card from the hand and places it in the drop. So I run a couple copies of this because it means that during your opponent's turn, if it benefits you, you could just go into your next Broly and make him discard a card. So it's just a nice little option to have. You can just get rid of something you don't need, or you can just pop a Broly, make him discard a card, and then go from there. And next we've got 2 copies of Preemptive Strike. So this is 2 cost counterplay. If it is green and the battle card your opponent is playing has an edge cost of 4 less, you can just place it in their drop instead of it being played. So it's just a way of getting rid of something that your opponent's playing out, if you have any energy to spare. And then the last 2 extra cards are 2 copies of Tragic Awakening. So it's active main sparking 7. If it is a green Freezer's Army card, you can choose one of your energy and place it in the drop. Then you choose up to 1 Broly BR with an energy cost of 6 or less from your drop area and play it. So I purely run 2 of these as a contingency plan, because the deck usually you can function and win on 2 energy. It's very easy to do because you're just so aggressive and you're just pumping up big Brolys and you're getting cards back to your hand because you're discarding but then using the lead skill to draw X amount. But this is a contingency plan in case, say, all of your 4 or all of your 6 drops go to the drop area. You're like, right, well, I'll charge to 3, play this to get one of them back, and then go from there. So it is just a contingency plan. If you're playing this, something has gone wrong, and you are literally just like, I need to bail myself out. So that's the reason there's only 2, because I don't want to clump it. And you can always charge one and keep the other, just in case. Or just discard them if you're like, yeah, you know what, I'm not going to struggle this game. We got this. Goodbye. So now we're going to the battle cards. And to start with, we've got our 1-drops. Where is a Broly? Did I? No, where is a Broly? I feel like there should be more of this, but it might not be.
Which one?
The 1-drop.
There's 3 of them.
There is only 3. Okay.
Yeah, you bumped it down to 3 because you only need 3 at most.
Okay, yeah. So there is 3 copies of this. I thought there'd be more for some reason. I think it's just
because you had 4 in it when you first built it.
Yes.
I think I stressed at you and said you only need 3.
Yes.
At most.
That is why. Yes. Thank you, Matt. I actually thought I'd lost one because I was like, wait, there should be 4 of this. There's 4 of everything else. So yeah, we've got 3 copies. That's in frame. 3 copies of Broly Unrealized Ambition. Just going to hydrate quickly. The value of last year is water is life. So it's got 2 auto abilities. The first being, when you play this card from your hand, if the lead card is a green Freezer Army card, you choose 2 cards from your life and add them to your hand. It's non-negotiable, you just take 2. And then its secondary auto is, when this card is removed from your battle area by a skill or KO'd, if the lead is a green Freezer Army card, so Broly, you choose 1 or 2 cards from your life, add them to your hand. Then you choose up to 1 Broly BR with energy cost of 4 and play it. So it's just how you get your 4-drop out. And yeah, you choose 1 or 2 cards and then you can play them. Play your 4-drop. So our next 1-drop is 4 copies of Paragus, Deadly Premonition. So he's got 4k power and he also has 2 autos. The first being is, when you place a card from your hand, you look up to 5 cards from the top of your deck, choose 1 Broly BR card among them, add to your hand and shuffle your deck. So it's just a generic searcher for Broly. And then when it's removed from your battle by skill, and if your leader is a green Freezer's Army card, choose which one of your green energy and switch to active mode. So it does mean you can use things like your lead card to pop it, and then KO. Yes, that's what. So yeah, you can use your leader skill to pop Paragus to get an energy back, and then it just frees up your energy that you might just use to play Paragus, or so that you have an energy so that you can do other things like play a Broly or play a counter if you need to. Just gives you options really, and it's nice that it gets the energy back. And then we've got 2 copies of Paragus the Sacrifice. So he's got 5k power, and his active means once per turn you choose a green card in your battle other than this guy, place it in your drop to draw a card. So it's just another way of getting your Brolys out, is you can just do this effect, pop it, draw, and then play the Broly using its own effect. And yeah, I have 2 because I think originally I got 2 and I've just been like, you know what, 2's a good number. It's just if you see it, you play it. If not, oh well. There's other ways around. So, but if you do have multiple, I would say just swap out one of these for it, because they basically function the same way. It's just one's a battle card, one's an extra card. So having a 3-3 split on them is probably really useful. Next, going to the 2 drops of the deck. My god, there's a lot of these. So to start with, we've got 3 copies of Chile the Beautiful. So it's 15k and auto once per turn. When one of your opponent's battle cards is KO'd, your opponent chooses a card in their hand and places it in the drop area. So she works really well in the fact that you've got the 4 to 8 cost Broly have the active battle skill of carrying one of your opponent's battle cards by discarding a card, and you've also got your leader card skill. So you have 4 different ways to carry your opponent's stuff, and Chile is just like, well, if you can see it and play it, you can pop something your opponent owns, pop one of your things, or just pop it in general, and then you force them to discard a card. But if you don't see Chile, oh well. She's just a very nice option to have in the deck, so I figured I'd include it. Next is our super combos for the deck. So we've got 2 Bomber and 2 Great Saiyan. So the Bomber, it's just when you combo with it, if your leader is a Shenron or Green Saiyan card and you're on 5 or less life, you draw a card which gains 10k. So it's just an early super combo, which is really nice, because in this deck you kind of want to put yourself to 4. If you're on like 5 and your opponent's getting a bit aggressive with you, you could throw the Bombers to keep yourself at 5, so if you're going to the 1 drop for example, you still have some life to play with. And then Great Saiyan is the green version of you combo, put 1 to the bottom, draw 2. So in fact he's good to run, because originally I was running the Paragus one that sent 1 to the bottom to draw 2, and it's like, well, just replace that with this because it makes more sense. Instead of losing a card, you just kind of swap in your card. So, and then next we got 4 copies of Paragus Rampage Trigger. So he's got 5k power. He's got the auto when this card's played from your hand, you choose which one bonus control mechanism from your deck and activate it. So gets you one of these guys for free, and then you can use him or this to pop your Brolys. So like I said, he's got active main, choose this card on 1 card in your battle area and place him in your own drop, and then you choose one of the following. So you can either choose up to 1 Broly BR card, then it costs 6 less from your deck, add it to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. Or you can choose a Broly BR card from your drop area and add it to your hand. So the one you search from deck is restricted on cost, the one you get from drop isn't restricted, but it's just good to have because you can either get the piece you're missing from your deck, or if you say you've discarded the 8 drop to go into like your 6 drop, you can then go, well, I'll pop this and the 6 drop to get my 8 drop to then go into my 8 drop. So it's just very useful because it gives you a lot of like playability and strategy. I don't know why I'm struggling for words. So next we got 3 copies of Sun Goten Deluge of Power. and he's quite simple. Auto, if your battle card is in battle is green, when you combo with this card, it gains 5k combo power for the turn. So it's just a free 10k combo for all your battle cards, which is really useful because if you're discarding a lot of cards, it means that you can gain back some combo power that you've gotten rid of, and you just constantly have a 10k ready to go on one of your battle cards. So you can just throw it on a Broly and it's like, well, here we go, here's 10k, and I've only used one card. So it is very handy to run. And our final 2-drop is 2 copies of Chilai, well, Speedy Entrance Chilai, which I've put back in the deck after so long, most because of Beerus being banned. Damn it. So it's 5k blocker. You can only have one in play, so basically got unique before it was a keyword skill. And then it's got the auto of when one of your opponent's battle cards is KO'd, you activate the skill. If you leave the screen, you can play it from your hand. So again, if you use this to pop one of your opponent's battle cards, and you've got space for it in the battle area, you can just be like, well, I have a free blocker then. And then you can just send her off for whatever it needs, and then maybe do it again next turn. So again, it's just a way to kind of get the most out of what you're doing. So next we've got our 4-drop, which is obviously 4 copies of Broly Berserker Origins. So you've got active battle, once per turn, you can choose a card from your hand, place it in drop. Then you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, energy cost 3 or less, and KO it. Hence you can trigger things like Chilai the Beautiful, Speedy Entrance Chilai, because you pop something. And its auto is when this card is removed from your battle area by a skill or KO'd, if you lead as a green freezer army card, you choose 2 cards from your hand, discard them. Well, place them in your drop. If you do, you place the 6-drop from your hand. So, not much else to say on that. You run 4 because you need to. And we go into our 6-drop, which again, 4 copies of Broly Power Unleashed. He's got 25k in double strike. He's got the power of whenever during the battle when this card is attacking, your opponent can't activate counter skills with cost of 2 or more. So they can only use 1 cost counters or kind of auto counters. It's like battle cards or leader cards that can do stuff like that. He has active battle once per turn. Choose a card from your hand, place it in drop. Choose up from one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So there's no cost restriction on this villain. It's just discard a card to pop one of their cards. But it doesn't get around barrier yet. And its auto is when this card is removed from battle area by a skill KO'd, you discard 2 to place your 8-drop. So yeah, the 1 goes into the 4, the 4 goes into the 6, and then the 6 goes into our 8 cost. So we have 3 copies of this one, which is Broly Limits Transcended. So he's got 35 double strike. The permanent is the same as 6-drop, so they can't use counter skills of cost 2 or more. And his active battle is, like the others, you can discard a card. Well, it's like the 6-drops really. Discard a card, choose a battle card your opponent has, ignoring barrier this time, and KO it. So the 4-drop targets 3 or less, the 6-drop targets anything that doesn't have barrier, and this just targets anything. And yeah, that's your big gun for deck because it's just 35k double, and it can come out quick and easy as long as you can keep discarding and playing the next Broly. But I only run 3 copies of that guy because I have one of these. A lovely Broly Ultimate Agent of Destruction. Which, yeah, if you don't have this guy, which I don't know if it's still expensive or not, because it's really odd by now, but it's still really good. So yeah, if you don't have one of these, just run the 4 for that. Or maybe another Go 10, or whatever you want really. It's been kind of time if you've got that instead. But anyway, I've got this big boy. So he's got double strike, dual attack, 40k power. So it's 40 double striking dual attacker, which is nasty. And he's got 2 altos. The first being, when one of your battle cards from the original energy cost of 7 or more is removed from your battle by a skill or KO'd, you activate the skill. You may discard all cards from your hand to play this guy out. So if you decide to pop the 8-drop, or your opponent does, you discard your hand and play him. And then it secondary also is when this card attacks, if your life is at 1, your opponent chooses all cards from their hand and places them in the drop area. So if you go down to 1 life and you swing this thing, on your first attack they lose their entire hand. And then say they survive and take the double strike, you can go, cool, now dump those 2 cards. Or play the counter and lose the other card. So it is really nasty, and it's a great way to finish your opponent if you can do it. But anyway guys, that is my green Brody BR deck profile. So as always, leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!